the woman who cheated the system and saved 2,500 lives without the world knowing. Imagine having to make an impossible decision, trusting your child to a stranger without knowing if you will ever see them again. Now imagine being the person on the other side of that decision. This is the story of an ordinary woman named Irena Sendler. She was born on February 15th, 1910, in Warsaw, Poland. But her story began long before. Her father was a doctor, a man who treated the poorest, especially Jewish families, even if they couldn't pay. From a young age, Irena learned that all people deserve to be helped, no matter who they are. But that teaching came with a price. When she was just a girl, her father became gravely ill after treating patients without resources. From that moment, Irena understood something very clearly. The world is not fair, but that is no excuse for doing nothing. She grew up and became a social worker. She chose a difficult path, helping the most vulnerable when doing so could cost everything. Then the war arrived. Warsaw changed. The rules disappeared, and one of the harshest places in history appeared, the Warsaw Ghetto, a place where thousands of families were trapped with no way out. Irena, a social assistant, could go in and out. She decided to do something no one else dared, take children out of there. But every decision was a risk. She had to convince parents to hand over their children. Imagine a mother handing over her child to a stranger to save them. That was the greatest sacrifice, not Irena's, but those families. And yet, she did not stop. She used toolboxes, ambulances, and sacks to get children out of the ghetto without being detected. Then she gave them new identities, new names, new lives. She took them to families, orphanages, and convents. She wrote down every real name and every new identity. She kept that information in glass jars buried underground because she had a hope that one day those families could be reunited. Over time, she managed to save around 2,500 children, 2,500 stories, 2,500 futures, 2,500 lives that continued. But the system was quick to react. In 1943, she was arrested. Interrogations, pain, constant pressure to reveal the names. But Irena said nothing, not a single name, not a single location. She held her decision because speaking was not an option. She was condemned. Everything seemed over. But a resistance group managed to free her through a bribe. After the war, she returned to those jars. She dug up the names and tried to reunite the families, but many parents were gone, and those children became the only legacy of entire generations. A real example is Elżbieta Fikowska, rescued as a baby and who years later cared for Irena in her old age. Until 1999, when students in the United States discovered her story and brought it to the world. Then, everything changed. She was recognized and honored. But when asked if she was a hero, she answered, "I could have done more." Today, her legacy is in thousands of people who exist because someone decided to act. Never forget the power you have. Look for solutions where you find problems. Subscribe to this channel for more stories.